Greetings, travelers, adventurers, and fellow keepers of the lake. I know, I should have discussed Tarokka first, it is the most popular one and all that, but what can I say, I'm a sucker for Pathfinder, I just got the new edition and... Anyways, so the Harrow Deck, it is what Varisian people use, and it's a place in the Pathfinder lore. Varisian people are fortune tellers that use these decks as basically a way to do divination. They explain to their subjects if they should prepare for the best or for the worst. Most of these decks are just painted pictures on paper arranged into a deck, but there are some intricate decks, and usually the deck of a family is considered something like a family legacy. They are treated with utmost respect. And that's where I will stop with Pathfinder lore. Let's go and see how this deck is used, how you do the harrowing, what are some classes, feeds, gameplay elements that you can introduce to your Pathfinder game. Roll the intro and let's get into the nitty-gritty details of the mechanical stuff.
The Barlow.
There is actually a post on a forum, and that's the Paizo community forums, where you can see the whole process of the guy that created this deck. It's interesting stuff. I will put the link in the description, go read it. It's not a long read and I think you might find it interesting. I think compared to Tarokka, Pathfinder has a very deep lore around this deck, and they did the whole module that's like an add-on to this deck. They have like modules, classes, feats, skills, spells, everything around this deck. I'm not casting shade to Tarokka, but I think Tarokka is more like tied to Ravenloft, while Harrow is like very widespread. I personally tried playing a Cartomancer, which is like an archetype class of a witch. It's a witch, different flavor. Instead of the spellbook, you have the deck, and you can throw cards as touch attacks, basically. So the cards are divided into 4 suits. You have the strength, which is the hammer. You have dexterity, which is the key. You have constitution, that is the shield. Intelligence, which is the tome. Wisdom, which is the star. And charisma, which is a crown. They are divided into 54 individual cards, and they have like 6 locations on the card representing the alignment grid. The ones going vertically represent good, neutral, evil. The ones going like horizontally represent lawful, neutral, and chaotic. There is a nifty little sacrilegious game, if you ask Varisians about it, and it's called the Towers, that you can also play with these decks, and I will make a video at the end of this series going through how to play Towers, as it is for some reason very hard to find information about this game online. And it's an interesting little gambling game for your taverns. Before going into the reading, one more thing, I will put a link in the description for a deck that I use. It's mid-journey generated cards. They are amazing. They look so good. And you go to a printer store, you tell them that you want to print them as cards. You have the fronts, you have the backs, let them do it, and you have a deck. Of course, I would still buy on RPG the modules around the deck, but the deck itself, no shade to the creator, not resonating with me in terms of art style. Well, Pathfinder in general isn't resonating with me in terms of art style, and I know the whole story about, well, artists are not getting paid. They're selling this artist's deck for like $30 to $60, so I guess like if you're broke and you need a deck, it's much better to make the one that you resonate with more. I'm sure you can find Pathfinder original art and make a deck out of this, but for me personally, I enjoyed this one more. So, how do you read the goddamn thing? Well, first of all, you ask a question, and this question is something you want to find, to understand, whatever. And then you assign kind of a stat to that question. For example, will I be in good health? That's a constitution question, right? So you take out all the constitution cards from the deck, shuffle it, give it to the subject of the reading, and they should pull one card. This card is basically your roll card, which is like your role in relations to the question you asked. Now return all the cards with the roll card. Some people there's a variant where some people keep the roll card and use it in the spreads. Others mix up all the cards and then they do the spreads. But it is important to first have this roll card. But I know that like when I was reading on the forums, people actually like mostly skip the roll card, though Varisians would give you a stink eye for that. In this playlist, I won't go into like the meaning of each and every card. You can find the list of those in the description and read it yourselves. Okay, so the most famous spread is called the Tapestry, and it is a 3x3 grid, and it is representing the alignment grid and the passage of time. So you will not be reading all the cards, but the ones in like certain spaces and the ones that have like certain significance. If you find the roll card in this grid, if it shows up in this grid, it is the most important card. You will certainly interpret this, like mainly interpret this card and the things around it. The other significant cards are called focus cards, and yeah, you're just reading the focus cards. Everything around, you can read it basically as flair, like maybe some details or something, but focus on the focus cards. Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
And use your DM brain to exploit them as needed.
Let's see what are the focus cards. The cards that are aligned good, and you can see it by the symbol on the card that is aligned good and is in its like good row, or the card that is with the bad alignment and it's located in the bad row or the evil row, that card is aligned, okay? Of course, if there is aligned, you have misaligned cards. A good card in an evil row, you would try to like morph its meaning into like more evil sounding thing. Then you have the opposite match, which is basically having a mismatch in both axes of the tapestry. So, for example, lawful good, chaotic evil. And there is true match, and yeah, it's when everything matches. You have a lawful good card in a lawful good place, done. Important to note, neutral cards are never misaligned. You can't do good bad, but maybe you can do like lawful chaotic on that axis. I will add additional resources for this, of course. An interesting little tip: if you're doing a reading for an evil character, you can do a reverse reading. So all the good stuff is considered evil and all the evil stuff is considered good. That's a nifty little story trick right there. Okay, now you've seen the tapestry. If that's what you're here for, you're free to go. If you want to see other like different spreads, let's go. So you would start by taking the deck, splitting it, reversing half of the cards, shuffling it, and any cards that come out that are upside down, they are treated as misaligned. You can see here how that should look, and let's go from the first card. So the first card represents the beginning of the journey. And then you have the second card that makes the subject begin a certain quest, like a prediction, what quest will like take you on that journey. The next three cards, so 3, 4, and 5, they represent like your journey, the trails and hardships you have to go through. And some would say that their orientation to one another has a major impact on the difficulty. The card 6 is your ultimate goal or a prize that you will get by finishing the quest. And the card 7 is the sacrifice to complete the quest. So that's it for the bridge. The next one is
The Cross.
This one is much better for generating character backgrounds, more so than like doing any type of divination. Okay, so the first step is to find what's called your signifier. And your signifier is a card that has your main ability score as a suit. So, for example, if you're, I don't know, a sorcerer, you would take charisma, for example, and you find the card that matches that suit and your alignment or perceived alignment by your DM, for example. And you take that card, you put it in the center. Shuffle the rest of the cards and draw them in order. And so the card 1, it represents the beginning of the story. The second card is representing the events that changed your life, like the call to action, for example. If you've ever read The Natural Technique from Jill Chamberlain, if not, go read it. It's a comprehensive little guide for creating story arcs for your characters. 3 is the talent or like the magical power or something that that character has. Like a representing trait. 4 is where the subject is going, his goal or something chosen by fate, if the character doesn't have a goal. My twist on this would be to reverse half of the cards, so you can do both comedies and tragedies. And to understand how these two terms are interpreted, you have to read the book. Okay, the next one,
The path.
this is the spread where your character's insight is more important than any others, and yeah, you would also take the deck, reverse half of the cards, shuffle it, and you can do the roll thing if you want before, and when you shuffle them, you would be spreading them like this. Again, reversed cards are treated as misaligned. So you reveal the card 1. The subject chooses a 1 card from the row directly above, and then you repeat, unveiling the path, basically. So the first card is the subject's role in the upcoming events. Again, you can use the roll card here. The 2 and 3 relate to the past, something from the past. And the revealed card above that is the present, and the row above that is the future. If you reveal any other cards, well, the most experienced Taversians would tell you that this invites very bad luck. So good luck with your bad luck. Right. Another one done. The next one is
The sword.
the sword. Well, it's the spread that is used to like point the character in some direction or like reveal the turn of events that will happen, and or as the description says, point the character to a new chapter in their life. Yeah, and there is a fantastic demonstration of this from the Order of the Amber Die. They do fantastic live plays and analysis of the Pathfinder system. If you're a Pathfinder geek, go and watch their stuff. It's pretty good. Again, take the half, reverse it, shuffle. Reversed cards are treated as misaligned, and then place the cards in this way. So let's go one by one. The first one is the root of your problem. The second one is how you or the subject should approach the problem. The third one is the challenge that will be faced, that you will have to go through on your journey. 4 or 5 are 2 things that will contribute to like your subject's quest or join the journey as tools, allies, ideas, stuff like that, like some form of help. And they're generally positive and inspirational. You'll feel when your players maybe need some positive reinforcement, and you can like throw the sword spread at them to actually like give some like fun, positive thoughts. And the 6th card is the outcome of the journey.
There are forbidden paths as with any mystic art. There are secrets even accomplished harrowers refuse to use their powers to divine. While most consider questions regarding wealth and revenge boring, such topics are certainly not forbidden. Most, however, refuse to entertain questions aimed at the revealing of the details of the subject's death. Worse than revealing a mystery of another's death is revealing one's own. Harrowers universally agree that anyone who deals the cards to reveal details of her own death is inviting its quick arrival and the cursed fate. Well, so be it.
Well, that is all I had in store for harrowing spreads, but hey, why stop there? Go make your own, play around with it, arrange cards in strange ways, try to explain how that works mechanically, over-engineer that. Nothing is important in life, right? So if nothing is important, then surely everything is important equally. So if you are going to create a deep and elaborate Harrow deck that has deep symbolic meanings and is tied to the mythology of your world, how is that less more important than that promotion that you wanted to get? Fuck that promotion. Make your deck. I'm not human enough to give humaning advice. To finish this off, these are some lost cards that I found on the internet. A couple of cards that are lost through the ages, but basically they are just discontinued from the first deck. And yeah, they can maybe be some lost artifacts in your world or something like that. There is a quest idea. I will just list the names of these cards here. The playable classes and that sort of stuff. Well, there's Cartomancer, which is basically the witch, link in the description. There is actually a sorcerer bloodline tied to the tarot cards, which I had no idea before researching this video. The beautiful world of Pathfinder 1e. There is an interesting mechanic where you get the harrowing feat, and then you pull a card in the beginning of each day, and you get to re-roll the first roll that is like matching your stat that you've drawn, like the suit. Its buff says Twists of Fate, so If you're playing the second edition, sorry, I just got into second edition, there is an archetype subclass type of thing called the Harrower in the second edition, but I've seen people like have divided opinions on it. It can be like maybe OP or underwhelming. I don't know. You have to read the rules and try it out. So that is all I wanted to cover today. If you like this content, I guess subscribe, stay, like, share, whatever works for you. I know this is not like a very interesting topic to a lot of people. It's not like intriguing. It's not gonna get the clicks or whatever, but this is something I really wanted to do, and I'm also like trying to get more familiar with like making a playlist, like setting up lights and experimenting with stuff. So I'm very proud of the research I did. I know I can't get it across as much. Maybe I'll put my scripts in the description at the end. That would get the point across much better than I did on camera. I've been told that I should also mention that I have a Ko-Fi link in the description if you want to buy me a mini or motivate me to keep doing this thing. It's like Patreon, but you can do like just one-time payments, a couple of dollars, like donations. You don't have to like have a monthly subscription. It does have an option for that, but yeah, whatever works for you. As always, keep on going, keep on loving, keep on being creative, play more D&D, and I will see you in the next one.
Farewell.